And hello, everyone, and welcome aboard to another edition of Hawk Talk. We're coming to you live from the Elks Lodge here in Indiana. We have a nice little crowd here all ready to go for some Crimson Hawks football talk. Coach Paul Tortorella is with us as we talk about the victory over Gannon 26-6 and get ready for the game against Clarion at noon at Clarion on Saturday. And first off, Coach, if you don't mind, we have the breaking news of the regional rankings have just come out in the past hour, and I'll just remind you what they do by region. They have 10 teams that are listed, 1 through 10. 8 teams qualify in each of the regions for the playoffs, with the conference champions get an automatic bid. Kutztown is 9-0. They are the number 1 team in there, of course, like 3 or 4 in the country. Virginia Union with 8-1 record is second. Johnson C. Smith also an 8-1 record. They are third. Assumption, we've seen them before, number 4. They're 7-1, and your IUP Crimson Hawks are in the number 5 position. Number 6, right behind them, is California. They're 6-3. Slippery Rock is 6-2. Frostburg is number 8 at 7-2. And then you have number 9, Fayetteville State at 5-3. And Charleston is the number 10 team at 6-3. So what do you think, Coach? Is that, well, what's the surprise there?
I don't want to really rain on your parade, but I really don't think anything, because we really don't deal with that until the Sunday after our last game.
Yeah, that's when people asked me. They said, well, you know, the next thing is Clarion is up, and I'll go with you on that. Okay, we'll talk about the last game, of course, the victory over Gannon. It was a game I think I think you had talked about on the post-game show that didn't have any real rhythm to it or whatever. But let's talk about the defense first of all. You only give up 6 points in the game, and go with the defense first of all.
Well, we played pretty good. We were Gannon was only 1 for 14 on 3rd and 4th down, so that's a good start getting off the field. We also blocked an extra point and scored and got 2 points there that way, so we didn't have any takeaways, but we count that as a takeaway. Mm-hmm. And, they had 2 plays, really. They had 2 plays for 116 yards. Out of 214. So the other 48 plays, they only gained 100 yards. So there's half glass full, half glass empty. Half glass full is those 48 other plays, that's pretty good. Half glass empty, we gave up 2 plays for 116 yards, and that can't happen.
Yeah. Okay, so all in all, a team, the Gannon we talked about, that really didn't have a great defense. They'd given up a lot of points on the year, but, they hung in there, and they made things tough for you, didn't they?
Well, it was more really self-inflicted. We dropped 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
And those were drives we didn't score on. So that's 14 points right there. And we fumbled on the 4-yard line going in. So that's another touchdown. So, that's 21 points we left out there, And if everything else would have went the way it went, we score 47 instead of 26. Like I told the team today, the scoreboard can tell you how many yards you threw for, and 356 yards Matt threw for, and completions, 37 completions, and all that. The scoreboard just shows how many points you score. We should have 47 instead of 26.
I'll tell you another good point on the positive: 3 penalties. That's all.
Yeah. The last 2 weeks, we've been good. We've been real good, as a matter of fact.
And that. It's crazy how it goes from 15 to 3, but it depends, I guess, who's officiating and what type of a game it is.
Yeah, that crew they were pretty, how do I want to say it? They were only going to call the obvious, and they kind of let us know that before the game. And what they did, they only called the obvious. If it wasn't obvious, they weren't calling it. For both sides. It was fine. As usual, we got 900 guys yelling, they're holding. And I said, well, they're not calling it on us either. And I'm sure we're holding too. So, just stop talking about them holding, because they're not calling it. Yeah. We don't hold either. So, if they don't call it on us, then they shouldn't call it on them either. So, The way that game was officiated is the way you should officiate. Only call the obvious. You know, pass-wise, one time we were screaming for pass interference on their guy. It wasn't pass interference. They played it pretty good, actually. Just like there's 2-3 balls that we defended pretty well that weren't interference, but I've seen it called before in this league. You know, so they did a great job.
That's really good to hear. You brought up, I was going to bring it up about Matthew Reeve. He did set a record with 37 completions. The three other guys are pretty good players. Hall of Famer Rich Ingold, Andrew Krewatch, and Chase Haslett had 34, and so Matthew with 37 on the completions. I have another question about Matthew a little bit later on, but he is, he gives credit where credit is due. He's always talking about how well his teammates.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
he's a team player.
Yeah, he's a great team player. He doesn't, and he's very even-keeled, and he's a lot tougher than people think he is. He took a couple hits Saturday now. We had some protection problems. But first thing you say is protection. Everybody wants to scream at the offensive line. Well, we had 6 sacks, which can't happen. You're not going to win many games when you get sacked 6 times. 2 of them were on the running backs. 1 of them was on the tight end. 1 of them was on the wideout because he ran the wrong route and he was getting ready to throw him the ball. And then 1 was on Matt. He flushed out of the pocket and should have stayed in the pocket. And really, out of the 6 sacks, only 2 of them were really on the offensive line. We got beat 1-on-1. And as it usually ends up, 5 of the 6 sacks, we had guys running wide open, like wide open. So if we'd have protected, we could even, scored a lot more, too.
Now, you alluded to the blocked extra point attempt. We're going to run a video on Mekhi Johnson picking it up. I guess Santos is the one who.
Yeah, he got it. Both linebackers were. But it got blocked from the backside by Santos.
And once he was midfield, he was gone.
Yeah, he can run. He's one of our faster players, and we had a convoy with him, and there was only one guy for Gannon. So.
Our guy on the sideline, Greg, had brought it up. I guess he and I have worked together so long. He said, it reminds us of another play against Shepard with a 2-point play, right?
Yep.
We're running the video now on Mekhi Johnson.
Yeah, it bounced. He had it, he bobbled it, but then it bounced right back in his hands.
Yeah, boy, he does have a convoy.
Yeah, they really hustled. I mean, you don't want, I think 2 years ago we had one where we got caught at the 3-yard line because there was just one guy and we didn't get him blocked on a blocked extra point. I can't remember. It was 2 or 3 years ago. So you don't want to have 4 guys out there in front of you and they only have 1 and he makes the tackle. So I think Frazier actually did a good job blocking the only guy that could have actually made the tackle.
Your team awards this week, Johnson was one of them. You mention those guys?
Well, on special teams, it was Johnson and Santos, obviously, for that play. Offensively, it was Matt, with 37 completions and 356 yards, I think it was. On defense, it was Randy Akungu, who's going to be here today. He had 4 hurries and a sack. He makes a great play on 4th down inside our 10-yard line. Ends up being a 19-yard loss.
Yeah, we're going to have that a little bit later when he gets in here.
And I think that's everybody.
Yeah. There was a question here from one of the fans alluding to Reeve with his 37 completions and 50 attempts, something to the effect was it surprising you threw that much?
Well, the way they were playing us, the middle of the field was wide open. I mean, we hit about 5 digs. We hit 2 posts. They were bringing a lot of edge pressure, and they really weren't covering a whole lot. We had guys open. Yeah.
I looked and I had to do a double take because with Matthews wideouts and the back, he threw to 10
Yeah.
different receivers had
Yeah.
at least one catch.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
Yeah, you got. I don't know if Gampy caught one or not.
He did.
He did.
He got one, yeah.
He was wide open on another one, and we got the throw off, but the protection wasn't great. If he would have got protected, that might have been a touchdown to Gampy on a pass that we had. I think all the wideouts caught at least one ball. I think 6 of them, and then the backs, Randy Washington had that screen that went, he jumped over the guy that tried to tackle him. Banks had a couple catches. Parsons had one early. Teams are starting to play our screen game a little bit to the field. We still hurt teams like 3 or 4. We hurt Gannon 3 or 4 times with the boundary screens. Our running backs on inside runs, we had 12 carries for 70 yards. I mean, everybody goes, wow, 70 yards. Yeah, but that's 6 yards a carry. So, that's pretty good, 6 yards a carry.
I'd say so.
So
Take that anytime.
so we did run the ball inside pretty well. With all the edge stuff coming off the edge, they were taking away our boot, our misdirection, and our outside zone in the run game, and some of our screens. But that opened up the middle of the field. Like the one was 3rd and 16, and we ran a dig, and there was nobody within 10 yards. I believe it was Massey. Mm-hmm. And he had 8 catches. He caught the one post that led to our first touchdown, and he caught 2 or 3 deep in routes. So he had a good day.
Whitlock,
and then Whitlock had a bunch
9,
of catches, and he caught a touchdown. I mean, he's doing a little bit of everything. He's all over the place.
Yeah. We have to really look hard to see whereabouts he is on the field. I think Pat brought it up on our broadcast about Randy Washington. Fresh legs.
Yeah, that's somebody that hasn't done anything for 6 weeks. You could tell.
Yeah, but he was very impressive.
Especially at this late in the year, guys start to get tired. Guys that are playing a lot of plays, we're trying to cut practice back. Guys that are playing 50, 60 plays every Saturday get wore down. You're in week 9, and perfect example was watching Randy Washington out there Saturday. He was the fastest guy on the field, without a doubt. And he hasn't really done much for 6 weeks, so he's pretty fresh.
He's somebody we've had here, of course, on Hawk Talk, but deserves a lot of credit for those of us that go and watch practice several times a week. He's right. He's been there. He's had so many injury problems over his whole career, but he's such a positive individual. And, down the home stretch here.
Oh, he's a factor. He's a definite factor. I mean, you do need 3 running backs, and he's the 3rd running back, and he'll get the ball.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to be back with more talking Crimson Hawk football here till 7 o'clock. By the way, following our broadcast, the Penguins will be on our radio station, so you can keep that in mind. We'll be back with more. We're coming to you on U92Radio.com and Renda Digital TV. We'll be right back.
Looking for food, fun, and entertainment with a purpose? The Elks Lodge 931 in Indiana is more than a place. It's community. Become an elk. Enjoy food, fun, bowling, music, events, and a banquet hall. Distinctly American, Elks are rooted in brotherly love, charity, fidelity, and justice. Annually giving tens of thousands to local charities. We give back not at the Elks, as an elk. See them at 475 South 13th Street and on Facebook today. Elks Lodge 931, where community and compassion meet.
From furniture to flooring, mattresses to accessories, you'll save big at Dowd's. Dowd's showrooms are filled with furnishings from America's finest manufacturers. You can save thousands on Dowd's floor samples and receive incredible savings on custom orders. Whether you're looking to furnish one room or your entire home, right now it's all on sale at Dowd's. Drive a little, save a lot. Dowd's of Plumville and Greensburg.
Doesn't your home deserve Dowd's?
Located along the beautiful Allegheny River in downtown Katanning, the Meredith Inn provides an atmosphere of casual upscale dining. If you're looking for the perfect venue for your next event, look no further than the Meredith Inn. Family gatherings, wedding rehearsal, business meeting, or just a night out. It's perfect for all occasions, and their menu has something for everyone, leaving all full and satisfied. For more information, visit them at themeredithinn.com or call 724-793-7364.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk here at the Elks Lodge. Good to have you along. Jack Benedict along with Coach Paul Tortorella. 26-6 over Gannon. Clarion next. Easy trip. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice day. Kickoff is at noon, so we want to see you there. All right, Coach, we talked about Matthew Reaving completing passes to 10 different receivers. One of them, of course, went for a touchdown to Jeremiah Coleman, and it was good to see him back in action, get him in the flow of things because that'll keep the defense on its toes. And you might describe that particular touchdown pass from Reaving to Coleman.
Yeah, we motioned and kind of got in a stack formation, and
we're running it now.
He beat the corner. He got inside leverage on the corner, and they didn't have anybody in the deep middle. So we kind of, with the motion, manipulated the leverage and the coverage to where we had the corner covering Coleman from outside leverage. And if you're running a post, it's not good for the defense. You don't have any help in the middle of the field either.
Is it surprising to you that he's contributed? Now he was hurt for a couple of games, or was out for a couple of games. Is it surprising to you that he's contributed this much as a freshman?
Not at all. He came in preseason camp, and right off the bat, we said, this guy's going to play. I mean, he can run. He's long. He's got long arms. He's got good size. He's a great kid. He's got good ball skills. He has a feel for the game. He's got to work a little bit getting off collisions, which is usually the first part of when you leave high school to go into college. Like, you're not really getting collisioned in high school. You go up against, teams that are collisioning in the secondary. If you're not aware of it, you can get, railed, we call it. And he got railed a couple times, but he caught a couple in routes. He caught a post, and he's good after the catch because he does have very good speed.
His average per catch is way up there. I have a question here from one of our fans here in the audience, number 47. Parker Gregg didn't play much. Was that the scheme, or what?
Well, yeah, we were only in two running backs, with a fullback, 3 plays. We were mostly in 11 personnel, 3 wideouts, and a tight end. Now, Parker is repping some as a tight end also, so we can use him there as a tight end, and he's our second team Mike linebacker too, so he's really one play away from playing on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And when we go to 2-back, see, we weren't really down on the goal line. Like, that's where we use him a lot when we get in 2-back, and we didn't have. I think we only had one short yardage play. 4th and 1 maybe on 1. So he's usually in on the goal line and on short yardage for sure. Mm-hmm. So kind of the way the game was probably dictated why he didn't play so much.
Yeah, there was another question here from a fan. Someone had sent me this, and this is kind of a follow-up to Parker Gregg. What is the thought, the reasoning in running out of the shotgun when the ball is like inside the 5, maybe the 2 or 3 or that close?
Well, there's a couple different reasons behind it. When you get under center, it does help inside the 5 to be under center, and the back can get to the line of scrimmage a lot faster. But you're kind of locked in on some of the things you can do, whereas in the gun, you got a little bit more flexibility of what you can do. So it's just a matter of what they're doing on defense plays a big determination whether we're in the shotgun or under center down there inside the 5.
That makes sense, that's for sure. Again, a question here from one of the fans. This is a fellow who's a big IUP fan, IUP grad, lives in the Pittsburgh area, listens, watches us all the time here and follows the team. Parson didn't get as many touches as usual. Was that somewhat in deference to the senior day with Randy Washington, or was he dinged up?
I didn't think of it. No, he wasn't. He's just, he's a true freshman. He's been getting a lot of work, and now we're into our 8th game. High school seasons are they're over. So he's used to playing, and, his team played in the playoffs in high school, but, we wanted to try to get through the game Saturday, not using him as much, because you can only take so many hits. And he's gotten the ball in the run game and the pass game. He's probably touched the ball maybe just as much as anybody on the team. So early in the game, the plays that we like to run with him, they were defending them pretty well. And we had Banks, and Randy was ready to go. So that's kind of the direction we went. We just kind of wanted to give him a pitch count because he's been playing a lot, and he's only a true freshman, and it's kind of you can get wore down. Like some of these true freshmen, the ones that are even redshirting, they're kind of starting to hit the wall a little bit. Like you can see it on the scout team. They're not running as fast as they've been running. They're not as, the linemen aren't coming off the ball like they've been coming off the ball all year because, we started on August 10th. And our game is November 10th? The next game, is that when we play Saturday? Is that the 10th?
It is the 8th.
The 8th, so what's that, 3 months?
I know it's a lot. It's a lot of practices in between.
We're now into November, so that's 3 months.
Sure.
Come Saturday, it'll be 3 months. We've been practicing and playing football. So you can't, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And we know that around here because we've played games into December, and we've played in semifinals and regional championships, and if you wear your team out, they're not going to have anything left down the stretch. And we've cut back practice a good bit here in the last couple weeks.
Well, you usually go about an hour and a half now?
Yeah, it's about last week we were getting off the field just after 5 and starting at 3:45, so not even about an hour and a half at the most.
And Tuesday, you weren't in pads.
Yeah, we were only in pads one day last week. We practiced today because we're not practicing tomorrow, and we weren't in pads. Now we'll be in pads on Wednesday, and then Thursday we'll probably not be in pads.
You said that's a conference rule.
You can't practice on election day. Yeah, for the whole conference.
Yeah. Back to Parson for just a moment. We're not talking about a guy who's just totally a runner.
Right. He's catching a lot of balls.
Yeah.
And then people don't realize those guys are in protection a lot. They those blitzing linebackers coming up the middle there, they're not they're bringing it now. So you got, and he actually had 2 really good blocks and pass protection on Saturday. That's probably, he wasn't a factor in the run game or the pass game, but he did have 2 really good pickups and pass protection where their backer came with authority up the middle, and he stoned them.
So that brings to mind, when you're recruiting a high school player, and a running back, a back of sorts, how much do you evaluate pass blocking?
You really don't, because in high school, if they're a running back, they're not doing a whole lot of pass blocking. They're running the ball every play. They're catching the ball just about every play.
Yeah.
So you don't. But what you see is when they play defense, Parson was a really good defensive player. He was a great safety. He was really he's not very big.
He isn't.
So you'd like him to be a little bit bigger if you wanted to play him on defense. But he was physical. He covered. Very athletic. So on top, and in high school he played running back and wide and slot. He played both. He wasn't just a running back. He was a slot receiver sometimes. And then he was really good on defense. So all around, out of all the running backs we were looking at, he probably did more than any of the running backs we recruited because he played defense. He was a receiver, and then obviously he was a running back.
Bring us up to date on Logan Goodwin.
Well, I think the two guys that got banged up Saturday were Goodwin and Shovlin.
Shovlin, yeah.
And they should be good to go this weekend. I mean, we're not practicing tomorrow. If we can get them practicing by Thursday, they've both played a ton of football this year. So if we can get them on the practice field Thursday, they should be ready to go on Saturday.
You know, it's when you're watching these players and how they gut it out, it reminded me in watching Goodwin coming out, warming up, going back in, way back when in the NFL with the young blood, the defensive end. I think he played with a broken leg
or something.
Broken leg, whatever. Now this is not that extreme, but fortunately, and I know that Shovlin had come out, so that's good news. Yeah, when you get to this point, they've got a lot of reps.
Yeah, those guys, Shovlin started every game. Obviously, Goodwin has started every game. Goodwin probably has played more plays than any of our defensive ends. Total-wise, we've been playing 3 or 4 DNs, but he's probably gotten the most plays. Offensive line, Shovlin does come out some when we put McDonough in there. So, but he's played a lot of football and again, he's a true freshman. Last year he was on the Scott team. Now this year he's starting. He went right from the Scott team to start. And now you're into your 8th, 9th week of the season. Like, he's not used to every week. Like, he went a whole year on the Scout team. Scout team's great, but you really practice Tuesday and Wednesday, and Thursday's really not a real physical practice. So when you're on the Scout team, you're really only banging as a lineman 2 days a week, whereas when you're starting offensive lineman, you're banging during the week, and then Saturday there's a lot of banging.
Yeah. How would you rate the improvement from the early part? I may have asked you this before, the offensive line up to this point with Campy coaching them.
Oh, they've like the guy that's really taken a big jump is Fuchs, the right guard.
Right.
Nelson's played before. Chance has been a starter for 3 years. Koval's played a lot of football. He missed the second half of the season last year, so he was a little rusty in the opener. But the guy that's probably, and Shovlin also, and McDonough, they're young guys. McDonough's a sophomore, and Shovlin and Fuchs are freshmen, but probably Fuchs has made the most improvement. I watch every play on offense, defense, and special teams, but I don't watch every offensive lineman like I'm grading them every play. I just noticed Fuchs doing a lot of good things on Saturday.
And it was a blessing that Matt Nelson came back.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, Fuchs is our backup center too. So if something would happen to Matt, hopefully that does. We don't have to worry about that. But Fuchs would go to center.
All right, we're going to be back. We have one of the stars of the game from the win over Gannon coming up. So stay with us. It's Hawk Talk. We're coming to you live from the Elks Cup with, of course, Coach Tortorella on Renda Digital TV. And we have U92.5. We'll be back.
IUP Spirit and get your hawk on with help from the Co-op Store, your one-stop location for all your IUP swag and apparel. Check out Norm's Bargain area for $25 fleeces and hoodies. Logo tees only $9.99. The Co-op Store is also the alumni headquarters. IUP is always in your heart, so put something on your front and back that shows that alumni spirit. IUP logoed water bottles, coffee mugs, spirit items for your dorm or man cave. And don't forget the Oak Grove collection. Get your hawk on at the Co-op Store or find them online at IUPstore.com.
In 1936, Walker Motor Company in downtown Katanning has served Western Pennsylvania with its no-pressure, no-hassle environment, bringing the kind of family-owned and oriented dealer experience that everyone wants when it comes time to purchase a new or used vehicle. Whether you are looking for a new GMC, pre-owned vehicle, service, or collision repair, come on over to Walker Motors and see why they've been voted #1 for 8 straight years. Visit them at walker-motor.com.
Show your IUP spirit and get your hawk on with help from the Co-op Store, your one-stop location for all your IUP swag and apparel. Check out Norm's Bargain area for $25 fleeces and hoodies. Logo tees only $9.99. The Co-op Store is also the alumni headquarters. IUP is always in your heart, so put something on your front and back that shows that alumni spirit. IUP logoed water bottles, coffee mugs, spirit items for your dorm or man cave. And don't forget the Oak Grove collection. Get your hawk on at the Co-op Store or find them online at IUPstore.com.
We get ready for the game on Saturday at Clarion. That is senior day up there. We'll talk about Clarion a little bit later on, but we talked about some of the highlights from the victory over Gannon, and this young man joining us here, defensive end, Randy Acuna. And we're glad to have you along, Randy.
Thank you for having me.
Get you off the field and get some time here that can talk with us. The first thing I'm going to give a little background on you for the fans maybe that don't know. He wears number 24, of course, defensive end. Now, you're from Whitehall.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure, so I went to my friend Mr. Google, and there's a Whitehall in Allegheny County. There's one in the east. Which one did you go to?
I'm from the one in the east.
In the east.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I wasn't quite sure of which area because of course you started out at Millersville.
Yeah.
So you wanted to stay. Was that the thing? You wanted to stay close to home?
At the time, they were actually my only Division II scholarship offer coming out of high school. So I went there, I stayed there, ended up graduating, and then once I was able to get my master's, I decided to enter the transfer portal as a grad transfer. And then obviously I had Garrett and Quaddy here who got here a semester before me. So had a good background about IUP, and it was an obvious choice when I came up on my visit.
Tell me a little bit, first of all, about your high school career.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you were a defensive end?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you? How about offense?
Offense, I played a little bit of O-line actually too.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. But my senior year, I ended up breaking my hand, so I had to wear a club. So then I just played primarily just defensive line.
It's an interesting thing of how players from different areas get to IUP. What did you know about IUP and why maybe you transferred then from Millersville here?
I knew they were really good, first off. And one of my old Whitehall teammates actually played here as well, Devin Castro. So, I had that background info too. And obviously, when you hear IUP, you just think of winning right away. So obviously that's a program I wanted to be a part of.
Coach, is that how you got the inside information on him, first of all?
Well, no, we got the inside information from Garrett, Cox, and Quaddy.
Oh, okay.
They were already here for a semester.
Sure.
And then when Randy got in the portal, that's the first thing we did, just like Mekhi Johnson. We asked those two, and we've been pretty good. We got a pretty good track record right now.
I'd say both of them made some pretty big
absolutely.
plays.
They're both starting and playing really good for us, yep.
I'm going to bring up to date, last year, was it frustrating for you because you were troubled with injury? You had a great game against Ashland. In fact, I had it down here. You had 5 total tackles, one and a half tackles for loss, 1 sack, and a forced fumble. And then you became injured. How frustrating was it not being able to play later on?
It was definitely frustrating at first. Obviously, I came here to, help bring a championship. And obviously, as a competitor, you want to be out there. But obviously, I took it as a blessing a little bit because I was able to come back for another year, finish up my master's, and then at that point, I was just ready to help out the guys who were on the field at that time, all the, true freshmen that were playing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, what it's done, too, for the team is the defensive line is pretty deep this year.
Real deep, yep.
Yeah. And that's been a big thing. All right, this young man had a sack in the game, and it was a negative 19 yards on this thing. You can look over your shoulder and
I felt like it was going on forever. The quarterback, he just kept spinning, and he could run a little bit, so I just made sure I didn't lose contain or anything like that.
Here we go. Here, see.
Oh, here it is.
All right, there's number 6, and he's in trouble.
Yeah.
And there's number 24. How about that?
Yeah.
Minus 19 yards. I don't think I've ever seen a sack minus 19 yards.
That play took forever. It was one of the plays that took like 15 seconds.
Slow motion? Oh, well, it's it's really something to watch you guys as a unit on defense. What's the difference? Of course, you didn't get a chance to play as much last year, this year, but like with the defense this year, how the guys have come together with the veterans, and you have some young guys that are helping you too. Mm-hmm. Tell us your thoughts about the defense, which actually in the conference is number 2.
I will say for sure, like everybody on this defense, knows what they're doing. Like, we have older, experienced guys, and even some of the younger guys who came into camp, like they were able to pick up the playbook relatively quickly, which is always a great sign. And honestly, I feel like we just go out there as just a well-oiled machine. Everybody just we know we're all going to be doing our jobs, and we just go out there and make plays.
Yeah, I didn't give at Millersville, you did have a chance to play in 31 games. I'll just give a little background here. 66 total tackles, 15.5 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and you recovered a block punt for a touchdown against Shepherd.
Yeah.
Tell me about that one. Linemen always have to talk about their touchdowns.
Yeah. So I think I was a redshirt freshman at the time, the 21 season, right after COVID. And, that day I just found out I was going out on punt. We had something happen, one of our guys who couldn't participate the first half of the game, and they just came up to me and were like, you're on punt return now. And I was like, at first I was like, oh, well, I didn't practice all week. But I paid attention enough, so I was able to just, they got the block and those in the end zone. I was able to just run down there and jump on it.
It's good when you have somebody that not only has talent but has speed too, right, Coach?
Yeah, I mean he's very explosive. He'll finish. The difference in some D linemen that are more explosive than others, they can finish plays. Like we had 4 sacks Saturday, and we actually missed 2 or 3. So there was a couple we didn't finish, but the 4 that we got, we finished. I mean, the guy, we got after the quarterback, and he went down pretty good. And the one with Renda obviously was 19 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, right.
We had one with Vaughn earlier in the game. A couple other guys on prep. We had 4 sacks. 2 of them were off of blitzes, and 2 of them were just regular rush. So you got to be able to fit. Like his stats are really good. He's got like a ton of hurries. Like people think, well, sacks, and that's what you want. But hurries are very important too. Making them throw the ball. Not on time. When you say affect the quarterback, yeah, you want to sack them, but making them throw it sooner and hurrying their throws, et cetera, like I think he leads the team in hurries.
Yeah.
And he's got a bunch of sacks and tackles for losses, and he's a very disciplined player, doesn't make many mistakes, and plays 2 positions. We move him inside a lot in pass rush situations. So he's playing inside, he's playing outside. So when he goes inside, he's got to learn all the pass rush stunts and the pass rush blitzes. And obviously when he's playing DN, he's got to know, the blitzes and the things he needs to know at defensive end. So if he wasn't a smarter, disciplined player, it would be hard to take an outside guy, put him inside. Well, you could do that, and then you just rush and don't do anything. But we still run our whole package with him at defensive tackle as if he was a defensive tackle.
So, Randy, was the transition when you go inside and stay outside, has that been tough for you or not?
Honestly, it's always felt a little more natural to me because when I was at Millersville, I played in a 3-down system, so it was kind of like I had that same experience of playing inside a little bit. So I felt right at home rushing inside as well.
Was it an objective of the D line to maybe get more sacks, but also force more, sacks than you had previous year, like last year?
Oh yeah, for sure. We're all competitors, so we always want to be at the top of the leaderboard. For those types of statistics as a defensive line, because when you're sacking the quarterback, you're probably going to be playing very well on defense. And I believe when you play well on defense, you win games.
Is playing in the Western Division a lot different than playing in the Eastern Division?
I think it's a little bit different. Yeah, I think it's a lot more competitive, like top to bottom. Not saying the East isn't as competitive, but every week, you always see like something making the headlines in the West. So yeah.
Well, this year, as Coach and I have talked about it, the improvement of Clarion, and of course Seton Hill is always, especially when they play at home, off at field is always a tough. Do you have any favorite place to play?
Probably pick Slippery Rock.
Gee, that's not a surprise. Because we know down through the last 10 years or whatever. I got to ask you this too. What have you enjoyed most about not only the IUP campus life but also the Indiana community?
Just the family atmosphere of it. I can go to a place with an IUP football shirt, sweatshirt. People will stop, shake my hand, introduce themselves. So I definitely really, really love that aspect
of it.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I like the Millersville area. It's it's a nice setting out there and what have you. Now I think what we agree is that people who have been here and lived here a long time is there is a great town setting here, and that's got to add to the IUP setting, don't you think?
Oh yeah, I think it does for sure.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot.
What's that?
I wasn't sure what that was, but we're joining in with us. Well, are you healthy?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
What was it? Hamstring last year?
Oh, it was an ankle injury.
Oh, the ankle. Yeah. That had to be. I know it's hard for us too when we know that certain players can add to the the overall plus of a team and then just can't go. But boy, when you're healthy, you can be a heck of a better player. What do you expect Saturday?
I expect a win.
That's bottom line. You teach them well, Coach.
Yeah, one word answers.
Short and sweet, right?
Yep.
Well, we know that Clarion's a much better team than they've been in the past. We know that it's the home stretch here, and the philosophy here, I don't know if it's elsewhere, but the coaches have always said, next game up, right? Now, what are you majoring in?
I'm getting my master's in business.
Very good. Okay. Well, we're glad you came here, and we're going to try to get you some more games.
Oh, yes, sir.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Number 24, you'll see him play on Saturday up against Clarion. It's a noon kickoff, and we'll have all the coverage on U92 Radio, of course, and complete coverage for you. So we'll be back with the final quarter, I guess you call it, with Coach Tortorella as we continue with Hawk Talk here from the Elks Lodge in Indiana. Great crowd on hand tonight. We'll be back on U92Radio.com and also Renda Digital TV. Be right back.
Show your IUP spirit and get
Furniture to flooring, mattresses to accessories, you'll save big at Dowd's. Dowd's showrooms are filled with furnishings from America's finest manufacturers. You can save thousands on Dowd's floor samples and receive incredible savings on custom orders. Whether you're looking to furnish one room or your entire home, right now it's all on sale at Dowd's. Drive a little, save a lot. Dowd's of Plumville and Greensburg.
Doesn't your home deserve Dowd's?
Located along the beautiful Allegheny River in downtown Katanning, the Meredith Inn provides an atmosphere of casual upscale dining. If you're looking for the perfect venue for your next event, look no further than the Meredith Inn. Family gatherings, wedding rehearsal, business meeting, or just a night out. It's perfect for all occasions, and their menu has something for everyone, leaving all full and satisfied. For more information, visit them at themeredithinn.com or call 724-793-7364.
Since 1936, Walker Motor Company in downtown Katanning has served Western Pennsylvania with its no-pressure, no-hassle environment, bringing the kind of family-owned and oriented dealer experience that everyone wants when it comes time to purchase a new or used vehicle. Whether you are looking for a new GMC, pre-owned vehicle, service, or collision repair, come on over to Walker Motors and see why they've been voted #1 for 8 straight years. Visit them at walker-motor.com.
Fourth quarter of our show, Hawk Talk. We do this every Monday from the Elks Lodge here in Indiana. And, of course, we do it between 6 and 7 o'clock following our broadcast on the radio side on 92.5. We have the Penguins coming up. We had Randy choose a winner. You know, one of our sponsors is the Meredith Inn in Katanning. And each and every show here, we have given away in compliments of the Meredith Inn, a gift card. And people signed up in advance, and the winner is Deb Buggy of Indiana. She's back there. Great to see her come. Been here many times, and it's good that we can have. We like winners, that's for sure, Coach, whether it's on the field or wherever the case may be. Well, you're going up against Clarion. Former offensive coordinator Larry Wilson is up there doing a good job. In fact, when you look on the PSAC stats, right up there, IUP, Clarion, offense.
Right.
Do you expect an offensive game or what?
Well, hopefully on our side, yeah. He's done a great job with their offense. You know, we've played a lot of good teams, but I think Clarion offensively is probably better than anybody we've played on offense. If you look at it statistically, they're scoring a lot of points, getting a lot of yards, have scored a lot of points against good people. You know, I would say probably Ashland is without a doubt the best team we've played this year, but I think Clarion's probably the best offensive team that we've played up to this point. You know, they got a back that's a really good player, too. He catches a lot of passes. He's very versatile, Simmons. They've got 2 or 3 really good wideouts. Their quarterbacks, they've played 3 different quarterbacks. You know, Curcio's been in and out with injury. Then their second quarterback got lost. He came in against Edinburgh and he's out for the season. Their third quarterback started a couple games. He started last week at Slippery Rock, and he had a great game up at Slippery Rock. He threw for 300 yards, and he's a true freshman actually from Clarion Limestone.
Yeah, that's
from right there, Ferguson. And they hurt you with they really threaten you with the quarterback run. Whether it's Garcio or the Ferguson kid, you got to worry about the quarterback run game. Not just them scrambling in the pass game, but quarterback called runs and different. It's almost like it's not an option, but they can give it, they can keep it, they can throw it. There's 3 options in their zone read. They run a quarterback power off the jet sweep where they're either giving the ball on the jet sweep or they're faking the jet sweep and they're running a quarterback power inside. They spread the field. They play with there are a lot of 4 wide receiver sets and 1 running back. They don't play with a tight end a whole lot. They do a little bit, but they're more of a 4 wide. They'll even get empty, and they'll have 5 wideouts on the field. Now, the running back's a really good receiver, so when he's in there, it's you know, that he could be in the backfield, and they're in what we'd call 10 personnel, obviously, or he can be one of the 5. They'll get in empty. I think against Slippery Rock, they were in it 23 times last Saturday. So they're throwing the ball down the field. And you know, the thing that has surprised me a little bit more than anything is teams that are in spread and 4 wides and that are throwing the ball a lot, you know, aren't usually that great in the offensive line, but, you know, they're pretty good in the offensive line. They're 1 tackle, their left tackle, Webb, I think his last name's Webb, 58, so probably one of the better linemen in the league. And all 5 of them have played together for like the last 3 years. They're having their senior day. They're like us. They've got a ton of seniors. And then defensively, they're really well coached. Coach Monaco's a defensive guy, and they're really well coached. Their schemes are sound. They play hard. They've forced 19 fumbles this year, so they're doing a great job of, you know, getting the ball out. And they're a lot better this year in the secondary than they've been in the past. They're doing a pretty good job in their coverages, and they're really sound in the kicking game. Again, very well coached. And they've played a ton of close games. I mean, 1-score games. I mean, the Slippery Rock score ended up 42-23, but that's a 4-point game with 7 minutes to go. You know, so, I mean, Clarion actually had the lead, right before the half, and Slippery Rock scored to take the lead. They lost to Cal on the last play of the game.
And the Edinburgh game.
And the Edinburgh game they lost with 30 seconds to go. So, they're 2-3 in the league. They very easily could be 5-0 in the league. Their 3 losses, the Slippery Rock loss is, it ended up being a bigger score than what it really was. But, they lost on the last play of the game against Cal, like I said, and then they lost in the last 30 seconds. They were beating Edinburgh 20-0. They ended up losing by a field goal.
The fans that that don't go way back with Clarion,
right?
Remember, Clarion has been fluff them off. They're not very good.
Right.
Now they're 6-3. Could be better, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But at one time they had 18 consecutive winning seasons.
Yeah, I mean they've had some good teams back in the day. I think they got the Ray Monaco's a really good coach.
So they have more of a commitment now?
Yeah, I think. I just think he runs a great program. He was Kutztown's head coach. He was at North Alabama when we played North Alabama in the national championships. He was the defensive coordinator. He's a veteran coach. He's a no-nonsense guy, very disciplined. They hold the line. They're really disciplined on the field also, and they don't make a lot of mistakes. I just think he does a great job. And even in the last couple of years when their record hasn't been that good, they've lost a lot of close games.
We've had a couple of tough wins.
Yeah, I mean, we went up there 2 years ago. We were losing 14-0, 14-0 midway through the first quarter. And that ended up being a tough game. But you're not going to really out-coach them. Larry's doing a great job with the offense. They present a lot of problems for defenses. And if you take one thing away, they go to something else. Defensively, they're not going to blow coverages and, leave gaps open because they're really sound on defense. Ray's not they have a good defensive coordinator, but Ray's, a defensive guy.
Yeah.
And they do a great job on special teams, So it'll be a tough task on the road. That team has a ton of seniors. They got a really good defensive end who we've been playing against for 4 years now, number 11. 5, the linebacker's a really good player. And where they're better is in the secondary. They've got a lot of pass breakups. And like I said, they've forced 19 fumbles. So they're doing a good job taking the ball away. So it'll be, and the quarterback situation, I mean, they've played with 3 quarterbacks. And we don't know if Gershio will be back for our game or not, but the true freshman played every snap against Slippery Rock and played a really good game.
Yeah, he had a great high school.
It looked like he belonged.
Yeah.
And he's played in the other games. He played against Cal. He played against, Gershio played most of the game against Cal. And he played the freshman Ferguson played a big. Actually, in the Edinburgh game, they were up 20-0, and they lost their first Gershio and the second-team quarterback. So they had to put the true freshman in, and he was their third quarterback, and he played the whole second half against Edinburgh.
We thought when Gershio first got hurt earlier in the year, they said it was a dislocated shoulder, this or that or whatever. Mm-hmm. He was back within a couple of weeks.
Right. He played the whole game against Cal.
Yeah.
And then I think the week after that against Seton Hill, he got hurt early in the Seton Hill game. So Ferguson played the rest of the Seton Hill game. He played the whole Slippery Rock game. So he's played the equivalence of 3 or 4 games as a true freshman quarterback.
Let me ask you this, because Larry Wilson is up there and because he was at IUP for a couple of years, do you add some wrinkles because he knows
it's both ways, because we know some of the things that he likes.
True. Yeah.
And how he does it and terminology, and then he obviously has been going against our defense in practice, and
Sure.
He has a pretty good knowledge of what we do on defense. So it's kind of both ways. He does things a certain way, especially as a wide receiver kind of coach. He's been a wide-eye coach pretty much his whole career, now quarterbacks, and as the offensive coordinator, he does certain things with some of the things they do at Wydot that are a little different than what other teams do, and we kind of know that. So, but he knows some of the things that we do that other people really wouldn't notice either. So it's kind of a wash.
Let me ask you this: they named the field for the late coach Al Jacks,
right,
who died a couple of years ago.
Right.
He was a great coach up there, Hall of Fame coach. Did you know him?
I knew a little. I knew him when I first got in the league. He was still up there. He was around a lot. I think
he was from the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, he was from the Pittsburgh area, and I think he lived in Clarion. Once he retired, he just stayed in Clarion. So he would be at games when we'd play. As a matter of fact, that's back when I was in the press box as the defensive coordinator. I bumped into him up in the press box a couple times. But the thing about him is when you talk to all the old all the old players from Clarion that played for him, they have tremendous respect for him.
Well, I think that goes a long way in a lot of these universities in the conference itself. Well, down to the nitty-gritty, I'm just going to repeat here when we started out, the regional rankings came out today, and IUP is number 5, Kutztown number 1, Virginia Union 2, Johnson C. Smith 3, Assumption, they're from up in the Northeast, number 4, IUP 5, Cal is 6, Slippery Rock 7, Frostburg number 8, Fayetteville State 9, and Charleston in the 10 spot. And of course, there's a lot to be determined. So this is at this point of the season, you just want to be in a mix, don't you?
Yeah, and you just you're what you want to be is fortunate. You want to be fortunate enough to control your own destiny, which that's where we're sitting. We just got to win Saturday. We don't need any help from anybody. Just win Saturday, and then worry about next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Chuck.
Thanks to Randy for coming by. Thanks to all of you for joining us. And we will see you at Clarion on Saturday for the next one up.
Noon start, too, so it's a 12 o'clock game.
12 o'clock, so, early breakfast on the road. Hit the road early. That's what we're doing. And we'll see you up there. Kickoff at noon. That's it from here. Stay with us. The Penguins are coming up next on U92Radio.com. And thank you for Renda Digital TV. We'll see you on Saturday and next week here for Hawk Talk.
The preceding program.
For food, fun, and entertainment with a purpose, the Elks Lodge 931 in Indiana is more than a place. It's community. Become an Elk. Enjoy food, fun, bowling, music, events, and a banquet hall. Distinctly American, Elks are rooted in brotherly love, charity, fidelity, and justice. Annually giving tens of thousands to local charities. We give back not at the Elks, as an Elk. See them at 475 South 13th Street and on Facebook today. Elks Lodge 931, where community and compassion meet.